Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirits. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you once again for tuning in to another action-packed episode. And in this episode, we're going to be interviewing and having a discussion with Gemma Canlin, who is the owner and the manager of the Old Schoolhouse. Also in this week's episode, we have the channeling from spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel in order for spirit to bring their communications through and wisdom through. And then also in this week's episode, we have this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the course of this week ahead. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome our guest, who is Gemma Canlin. She's the owner and CEO of 2020 Vision Group. She's also the manager and proprietor of the Old Schoolhouse. So, hello there, Gemma. How are you doing?
Hi, Glenn. I'm doing well, thank you. Are you?
I'm really well, thank you. And thank you for agreeing to come on in this episode. And so first of all, Gemma, I'd like to scroll right back and I'd like to ask you a question before we dive deep into today's episode. How did you develop an interest in the paranormal?
I've always been sensitive to spirit since I was little, and it's become more, apparent over the past sort of 6 or 7 years. I do see spirit. It does scare me. And since I've had the building of the Old Schoolhouse over the last 2 years, I witnessed a lot of activity. So I'm a big believer because of obviously what the experiences that I've had myself, basically.
That's fantastic. So that's developed that sort of interest and that passion in it. It's
Yes.
Interesting that you said there was an element of fear with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned the Old Schoolhouse there. So can you tell us a little bit about your venue, the Old Schoolhouse?
Yeah, so it's an old school. It was Kirkby Boys School, infant school, when it was built. It was built in the late 1800s. It still holds a lot of its character. It's not been a school for about 70 years now.
Yeah.
But it has been women's refuge and then various charities up until I took over the lease 2 years ago. My interest in the building is because of its because of its character, because of its history, and its ideal for my project, which is operating it as a community hub.
That's fantastic. And I understand that you're going to be leasing it out for paranormal teams to do their very own paranormal investigations in that building.
Yes. It's just an idea that I've had because obviously of the activity that I've seen myself here. So I do think there would be a lot of interest because there is a lot of activity apparent in the building.
Excellent. And so what sort of times are you looking at leasing it out for?
We'd probably say from 8, 9 o'clock in the evening until, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, depending on how long, they want to look at leasing out that time, because that's the times that we have free, mainly in the week. So it's a good opportunity if anybody would like to take that up.
That's brilliant. That's very generous with that time frame there that you're offering there. So, fantastic. So what's the sort of maximum capacity of guests that you're open to having there in one session?
The building is in general holds 200 people, but obviously that's for a big event. So in regards to a paranormal, we do have 4 separate. The building can be sectioned off into 4.
Yeah.
With the bifolding doors, so there can be 4 different groups operating at the same time. Should they want to, move around the areas, so you probably get 10, 15 people in one area in one session, I would say.
That is fantastic. That is perfect as well. And also, what's it like, the surrounding area? I mean, where is the building located exactly?
So the building is located on Diamond Avenue, Kirkby in Ashfield.
Yeah.
So basically, it's next door to what was the headmaster's house. So
Okay.
yeah, it's right in the middle of Kirkby town centre. So it's got good, transport links, and there's a lot of amenities, close by. But we do have cafe facilities on site also, for just soft drinks, teas, coffees, that type of thing.
Excellent. And for those listeners that are listening outside the area, Kirkby and Ashfield is in Nottinghamshire, which is in the East Midlands in the United Kingdom, for the international listeners there as well. And it's relatively close, isn't it, to the M1 and all the major roads that link around the UK?
It is, yes. It's literally 5 minutes up the road. You're onto the A38 and then straight onto the M1. So yeah, it's very good for transport links. It's got just down the road, 10 minutes is the train station. Good, yeah, very good transport links.
Brilliant. And for teams that are coming, from outside the area, there's the potential for overnight stays is the travel lodges and things like that? There's quite a few of those around that area as well, isn't there?
There is, yes. I don't think there's anything in Kirkby. There's a couple of Airbnbs in Kirkby, but I think the closest hotel would be either Hucknall or Sutton in Ashfield or Mansfield.
Yeah, that's perfect. So I'd like to ask, I mean, it's a very quiet location as well. So in terms of investigating, there's no sort of external noise that would creep into the building.
No, it is quite quiet here. It is on a main road, but the road, in the evening, it's very quiet.
Yeah. And so can I ask what facilities you're offering for any potential paranormal investigation groups that want to hire out or lease this space for the evening?
So obviously they've got access to, hire out the hall. Like I said, they can have the 4 separate groups, should that be of interest. So we do have a cafe bar area. We actually are in the process of getting a license to serve alcohol, but I don't know if that obviously would be appropriate for that type of event. But
probably
yeah,
not.
So we'll offer, no.
Don't mix your spirits, as they say.
No. So yeah, with tea, coffees, soft drinks, snacks, sandwiches, basically upon request we can, accommodate what would be of interest.
That's fantastic. And I understand that you've got some sizable parking areas as well there on the actual location.
Yes, so the parking is from the main road through the old school gates around the back. There's about 12 spaces around the back and 2 on the front, which was the old original playground.
Fantastic. And am I right in saying that you are offering free Wi-Fi for the guests as well? So if they're wanting to do lives on social media, then they would have a strong signal in order to do that?
Yes, yeah, the Wi-Fi is all up and running. So that, free Wi-Fi for all guests.
Excellent. And there's plenty of charging points, is there, as well, in the cafe for people to maybe charge up their paranormal equipment as well in between sessions?
Yes, so there's a lot of power points in the main hall itself and in the cafe area also. So yeah, there's plenty of space for that type of thing.
Excellent stuff. And I understand that there is a no spirit board and Ouija board policy in this venue because of the other usage of the building as well. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yes. We don't want to obviously, but it's just so it's risk free because obviously in the week we've got a nursery here, we've got other businesses that use this place, a music school, a dance school. We just want to make sure we're operating as safely as possible.
Excellent. But you're okay with people filming there and recording and collating their, the pictures and their evidence that way? That's fine, is it?
Yes, that's no problem.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that, Gemma. It sounds like a very interesting venue, which leads me to talk about, I felt very blessed last Sunday that you invited me to come and have a look at this venue. And together with yourself and your mum, we did a little bit of a live and a paranormal investigation there. So thank you for, first of all, inviting me to come over. I felt very honoured. Lovely venue, very vibrant as soon as you walk through the door there. So can I ask you, what was your and your mum's experience of the investigation at the old schoolhouse?
So obviously we were here, weren't we? It lasted about 3 hours.
Yeah.
It went very quickly because it was very interesting.
It
so yeah, we did witness quite a lot of activity. So we did see, I saw a man sat in the chair in the cafe area extension. I also saw the man that I usually see, like a black figure in the hall.
Yeah.
Obviously we heard the voices coming from the kitchen, which was quite scary. And it's just when you're walking down the hallway, the main hallway through the building, you could just feel somebody as if they walked behind you. You could just sense somebody there. It's like somebody's always watching. And it was interesting with yourself because you came in and sat in the hall and obviously the trams. So that was an experience for me and my mum. That was quite interesting. So we got some answers from spirit there. And I saw a couple of orbs. It was quite, well, I enjoyed it. It was good. It was a good event.
Excellent. And we did a live, didn't we, as well on Facebook whilst we was doing that?
Yes.
Yes. If anybody who does want to watch that and before ahead of booking with you, then they can head over to my Facebook page, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium, and just check it out on the video section, and you'll see what we're referring to there. I find your venue very, very interesting. It's very, very active. Never a dull moment. Throughout the time we was there investigating, I found it particularly interesting as soon as I was greeted by yourself and your mum there. As soon as you walk in the building, it's like a massive amount of energy just envelopes you, and you're just consciously aware of this pressure around you of activity. So I was excited the minute that I walked through that cafeteria door there. And also, I don't know if you recall, Gemma, I love the different layers of time that we were able to tap into in that location. Yes. Very, very interesting. I don't want to give too much away because of potential clients coming over to experience it for themselves. But yeah, it's very interesting. Many layers of time there, different activities. I did find it interesting as well when you and your mum was jumping, because you could hear voices and growls, I think you were both saying at the time.
In the kitchen. That was, I've not experienced that before. That was quite frightening. And I enjoyed doing a bit of psychometry. In fact, we all did a bit of psychometry where we laid our hands on either the brickwork or the door frames in various areas of that building, if you recall. And we all had an experience, didn't we, of doing that? Would you like to share what you was feeling when you was doing that for someone that's never done that before? As well, when I put my hand on the door, I felt really strong palpitations. It was more in a negative way though. So it was, I don't know what that was, what that energy was, or who it was related to. But that was the experience that I got, as if quite aggressive.
Oh, okay. It was a mixture of energies, wasn't it? I mean, I recall your mum doing it, and she was kind of rocking with the energy.
Yeah, the rocking as well. Yes.
Yeah, so that was very interesting. Also, there was quite a lot of light anomalies that we all witnessed, the flashing of lights and orbs as well in the building. And not only did we see it with the naked eye, but you was taking some still photography on the investigation, and you managed to capture some of those things on still photography, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, the pictures are very interesting.
Yes, it took some, because you took the photos and I was analysing them, and took some searching out, But with a little bit of time and patience, you actually spot these things. But yeah, you managed to capture quite a lot in the photos, didn't you? I mean, there was pictures of faces in panes of glass.
Yeah.
There was like a negative image, like a photograph when it turns into a negative. There was those images on a blackboard that you have in the cafeteria, and it was almost like a photograph, I thought, when I was looking at those.
Yes.
And
there was the man on the, it looked like there was a male figure, the top half of a male figure coming off of those tables that I saw.
Oh, yes, that's very interesting, isn't it? I mean, we wasn't aware of that at the time of the photo at all, was we?
No.
But yeah, you can see it building up on the top of the table and in front of the table there, and there was no light sort of source that would create that in that area.
No.
So yeah, that was very, very interesting. And of course, we did some calling out there, inviting spirit to come and communicate with us all on that event. And I think one of the things that we all encountered, and it was on the live video, we actually had one of the doors move in response.
I was about to say that, yes, the door. And that was very difficult to happen by itself because it had the door wedge underneath.
And it was very loud, wasn't it? And we was all kind of startled. Oh, what's that? Because obviously the building was locked off. There was only yourself, your mum, and myself in the building. And it's all cameraed in there as well, isn't it? So,
yes,
there was nobody else there to do that, which was very interesting. But yeah, very, very active place. And then not long after that, if I recall rightly, that's when we went to that area, and you said you could see a pair of legs sat in a comfy armchair there, and I looked as well, and I just caught a quick flash of somebody's shins in front of that armchair there. So I'm wondering whether it was that person that moved the door.
The same person, yeah.
It was very interesting how that led to that event occurring as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's always a male energy that I can sense.
Yeah, can you tell us a bit about that? Some of the other encounters you've had prior to this investigation?
Yeah, so, even in the daytime, when the place is very active like now, because I'm here now, when the nursery's here, that there's a lot of staff here.
Yeah.
Very busy. The nursery themselves, they've got a room down the far end of the building. And somebody keeps banging on the door and they keep going out and there's nobody there, and they say it's quite loud. We've also got walkie-talkies from one end of the building to the other.
Yeah.
And there's been quite a lot of spooky, strange interference on those walkie-talkies. I mean, one Saturday I came in, the nursery doesn't work at a weekend, so I was in the building on my own.
Yeah.
And something came on and there was somebody talking. I couldn't quite understand what they were saying, but again, that frightened me to death. So there's that. And then every time you're walking down the hallway, the main hallway,
yeah,
you can just feel like somebody's walking behind you, right behind you. There's also been other things that have moved. You just can't explain that. There's things that keep going missing in the building, and
nobody's
can't explain where they've gone. And you speak to, there's nobody else that comes in that it could be stolen.
Yeah.
Just random things go missing, or you're coming at something's a piece of furniture's been moved.
That is very interesting.
Like I say, it's not. Well, I'm on site. If there's any public coming in, I'm on site. So we're talking when it's at night time and when nobody's in, coming the next day. So there's no explanation.
Yeah. And have these items ever been returned in other areas within the building?
Yes, they have. Not all of them, but yes, some of them have.
That is interesting, because spirit do that. They do like to play little tricks, and I find they do that just to let you know that they're there and they want your attention, like an infant would do. I'm not saying that spirit are infantile, but they will use as much as they can in order to get your attention. Interesting that they move furniture as well. That must be quite spooky to come in the next day and think, hang on a minute.
Yeah, it is. And the doors do often move in the daytime also. When there's nobody in. I mean, at a weekend, if there's nobody in, the doors they'll be open for the hours that we're here, then all of a sudden it'll just shut.
Wow.
So that's quite scary. There's quite a few times I've had to run out of the building.
And have you ever gone through, the CCTV footage when you've been aware that this furniture has moved?
I haven't actually. No, that's something I've never done.
That might be worth doing, just to see what's doing it. That might be some really good evidence, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
But also on the going back to the investigation, I felt very comfortable in that main hall. There was a lovely energy in there. And I was saying to both yourself and your mum if you'd mind me doing some channeling. So that's what occurred. And I've since watched some of the footage, and we actually channeled through a couple of individuals that were associated in spirit with the building.
Yes.
Which was very unusual to see that back, because I wasn't aware of any of that came through. So, yeah, it was interesting. What was your experience of that encounter? Because it's not for everybody's liking, is it? Watching a channel.
No, I mean, it was different, and I found it very interesting, a little bit spooky, but very helpful because, I've got some of the answers to some of the questions that I wanted. So, yeah, it was very a different experience for me, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Oh, excellent. So I want to ask you, what was your favourite part of the investigation that we did on Sunday?
Probably the trance, actually, because, like I say, just because that was different for me. The other stuff, obviously, I have witnessed already.
Yeah.
It was just getting somebody else to come and see what was happening. So I think probably the trance part for me, because it was different.
Oh, okay. And I suppose with the information that came through for you, you got the answers that you needed about the building?
Yes.
That is very interesting. Now, for me personally, I just enjoyed every part of it because I found the building very unpredictable. I know that sounds crazy coming from a spiritual medium and a psychic, but even so, it was very unpredictable. And there's lots of different pockets of energy within that building, and also the land that surrounds it, because we were picking things up in the car park area as well.
Yes.
Not necessarily connected with what you would assume to be the school, but on a previous timeline prior to the school there. So that was quite interesting. And in actual fact, when you was taking some of the still photos, you captured light anomalies moving, and the way that you captured it, the photo one after the other, you could track the movement of these light anomalies, which I found fascinating there.
Yes, I saw that as well.
Yeah, as well. So, there's lots to experience there. Audibles, as you said, visuals, with seeing, you said you saw a gentleman figure in the corridor there, part of the investigation, and the legs that you saw there as well. The audibles in that building, the shifts in energy, which we all felt, because if you recall, there were certain areas where we'd either feel a little bit down in the dumps or really tense, and the next part we'd feel really energized and we were laughing and joking. So there's different energies within that building. It's very interesting. Yes. Never a dull moment. And I felt, well, like you said, we was there for around 3 hours, and I felt we was just scratching the surface there.
Yeah, it went very quickly. We was shocked. To think what time was actually. It went very fast.
We was all saying, "Oh, we've got work in the morning." Whoa!
But yeah, I think if you did, longer than 3 hours, probably 6 hours, you would get, pick up a lot more.
Definitely. Well, thank you once again for inviting me along. I really, really did enjoy that experience there. And for people that are wanting to book and have their own experience with their own paranormal teams, how can people go about booking their time with you at the old schoolhouse?
Okay, so they can give us a call between the hours of 9 and 5, Monday to Friday, on 0800 292 2888, or email enquire at 2020visionweb.co.uk. Or if you go to the Facebook page, which is 2020 Vision Community Hub CIC, you can contact us through the Facebook page on private message.
That is fantastic. And I understand that you're setting up a sister page, which will be connected up to that page on your Facebook, which will give people more sort of photographic footage of the location, some of the captures, and there'll be a nice write-up there as well. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. So we've got the page for the building as a general, obviously for all hire and all activities. So what I want to do this week is set up a group which will be linked to the page, which will just before, the paranormal investigations, so that we can, people can then have conversations on there, and it's just allocated to those type of events. And, we can put the photos on there, the videos on there, and it's just, so it'll be more targeted.
That's brilliant. So would you encourage some of the paranormal teams to maybe share their lives on there as well, when they are in the building? Yes,
that would be good. Yeah, that's what we're thinking. And then, it's all in one place.
Excellent. Talking about lives, the live that we did, and again, we just kept the cameras rolling, so it's a very honest account of the building, isn't it? Like I say, that is available on my Facebook page, which is Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium. Just go on the videos tab and you'll see the live investigation there if you're wanting to see and experience what we experienced as it happened there on Sunday. So go and have a look at that. Well, Gemma, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you, and I wish you every success with this venture. And, thank you once again for inviting me along to experience the old schoolhouse.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. And thank you for inviting me on this show today.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure. I'm sure this won't be the first time. Okay. Thank you, Gemma.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, now we're moving into the next segment of the show, which is the channeled section, which sees me becoming a vessel in order for spirit to bring their communications through.
Hello. How are you all doing? You all right? We'd like to talk to you about the emotional pathways that most of you navigate your way throughout the course of your life. Now, these emotional pathways, they have many twists and turns. And this is all where you place your focused attention on. And this is what you will experience. We're talking about the energies and the emotions that you interact with. Some of you most of you will go through periods of grief, frustration, anger, maybe overexertion, or jubilation, love, and all of these sort of emotions that forms the rich tapestry of life as a human being evolving in these times that you're going through. The reason why we bring this up today is just to talk to you about where you're investing your energy and your attention, because obviously that will increase and amplify whatever emotion you're allowing to play out with you at that moment in time. Now, let's talk about grief, for example. Now, grief comes in many forms. You will have all experienced this at some point in your life, whether it's the loss or the transition of a loved one moving into the world of spirit, and your loss of them and their interaction with you in your physical being has caused you a sense of grief. And that grief can turn into many other emotions such as anger, frustration, loneliness. All of these other things can come off of that, shall we say, vibration of grief. But also something that's not talked about enough, we feel, in your society, is grief of oneself. Grief of letting go a version of yourself that no longer exists in your present moment reality. Now, what we mean by that, obviously we're all evolving and changing on your life path within your earthbound incarnation. And with this being said, in order to transcend and move forward on a higher vibrational track within your earthbound incarnation, there comes a point in that process where you have to let go of the old vibrational energy in order to make space for the new energy coming in. Now, we're relating this to your own personality, your likes, your dislikes, what you align with on an energetic basis. And sometimes you as a species can get very hooked on this principle. So, for example, you like routine. You like everything to fit in a box, so you feel nice and comfortable and relaxed. And that's fine, so long as you realise that life isn't like that. You're designed to constantly evolve and heighten your vibrations in order for you to learn the lessons and to move into the various versions of yourself. Notice we said versions of yourself, because as you know, you are all multiple dimensional beings. So wherever you place your focus intention on is the experience and encounter that you're going to be experiencing in that moment. Now, relating this back to what we're talking about, moving through grief, your own personal grief. When you let an element of your persona, your personality go in order to transcend and heighten your vibration and move into different dimension, if you understand where we're going with this, then there is that sense of sorrow and sadness about some of the things you've let go of, because you've become all too familiar with them and it's made you comfortable. And when you're in this state of being, feeling comfortable, it's a wonderful feeling, don't get me wrong. But there is never no growth or, shall we say, expansion when you've reached that plateau of energy. So it has to constantly move and vibrate. And so what we're alluding to with this conversation is these emotions of grief that you feel during this period of time. Don't ignore them. Allow yourself to go through them. And with you going through them, in other words, experiencing the energy, the change, noticing the change occurring, then you'll appreciate the lessons and what's gone that you are leaving behind. And that will give you gravitas, energy, if you will, to make the transition into the new dimensional version of yourself. And as you will be aware that when you give inertia, give energy and flow state, you need a bit of that energy to get you moving in a new direction. Because in the beginning with anything new, there's always that sense of feeling a little bit apprehensive, worried, nervous, sometimes even frightened. And you see this appreciation and going through this phase of grief that we're talking about, will push you through and give you that energy that you need to burst into this new, shall we call it, transformational state of being. So the reason we brought this up is to remind you all that it's a perfectly natural state of being. Having this stage of grief, when you do recognize that you are changing as an individual, is part of the evolutionary process. And in the act of ignoring it, or thinking it's a weak thing to do would be very ill-advised from ourselves, simply because, you see, without that inertia, that progressional energy that's going to move you into the new phase energetically, the new version of yourself, then again, although you'll be in a new dimension, a new version of yourself, it will take a great amount of struggle to get yourself moving again on those new frequencies. Whereas if you go through the process of grief, see it as a learning transitional phase, that will give you the energy to do that. And it will feel very seamless and evolutionary act when you do that. But obviously there's other emotions that you experience on your earthbound incarnation. One of them is a sense of, shall we say, anger that a lot of you, or frustration building up that a lot of you encounter on a daily basis. We say to you that this is also a gift in unusual packaging for you. Now, this anger, this frustration, you see, what it does, if you use this energy correctly, is it's very motivational energy. It gets you, it kickstarts you, if you use it wisely, to move into another version of yourself. But it helps you to do that in a quicker state of being within your timeline. So if feeling frustrated about something, it pushes you into that contrast. So if I don't want that and I'm angry about that, what do I want? You see what we're saying? It puts you into that stage of thinking. And so it's very beneficial. So again, don't suppress these frustrations that you may be experiencing, particularly in your moment in time that you're going through. There's going to be a lot of this occurring. Some people will be consumed by fear and anger and frustration because they can't see a way out of it. They're in this perpetual cycle of these emotions. And what we're suggesting to you today is to see it as a form of contrast. So it's not a permanent thing, these energies. It's simply of energy to kickstart you into changing your perception to something better, something that aligns with you, that makes you feel at ease, at peace, and more positive. So if you see it as that, then you will no longer be treading water in the vibration of anger and frustration and hostility and all of those what can be perceived as negative vibrations. But what we say to you is they're only negative if you put your time and attention on that part of that energy shift. If you turn that around and see it as, well, actually, it's a blessing in disguise, because I would have never have made this decision which has led me to this next phase of my life if it hadn't been for that kick-starting frustration that I was feeling in that situation previous to this one. So we wanted to tell you about the gift of emotions, and when you use them wisely and you go through them and not negate them and ignore them, they can be very beneficial for you to transition into a new phase of being. Obviously, there is your own free will, and so you have to come to these decisions yourself. And these little nudges and winks from the universe with these emotions that we're describing to you today will be that kickstart that you need. So thank you for listening to me ramble on about this. We hope it's given you some food for thought the next time that you allow yourself to focus in on any of these vibrational, emotional frequencies. But I'm going to pass you over to another communicator that would like to talk to you about something. So thank you for listening.
Yes, well,
An interesting topic, I'm sure you will all agree. But what we would like to talk to you in this section is basically personal responsibility and how a lot of people shy away from personal responsibility. Now, it can be something as simple as personal hygiene, or it can be something as simple as being motivated and making your words count and following your words and moving them into action, and so that you are a trustworthy adversary, so people can rely upon you. And so you can only get to that stage by taking personal responsibility of your own energy. After all, you have the gift of free will, and so you can choose or not to choose. But whichever you focus your attention on is a choice, nevertheless, and it's one that you're making. We also want you to be accountable for your actions and notice the effects of your actions or inactions has upon you. Now, most of these things we're talking about are subjects and energies that you will all have to encounter at some point on your spiritual journey, whether it's when you make your transition into the world of light and you go through your life review and you see the impact that your choices that you are responsible for have had on those people around you, the environments around you, and how it has affected their timeline within their life. So, with this being said, we don't want to alarm or frighten you by talking on this level today, but we thought it fit for you to understand that before you make a snap decision, before you just follow the herd, before you just say things willy-nilly, we want you to align vibrationally with these options and choices that you are faced with on a daily basis. It could be something as simple as, what clothes or clothing am I going to wear today? How am I going to style my hair today? It could be something as trivial as that. However, it is a choice, and we want you to get used to the feeling of connecting in with the frequency behind those choices. So we want you to trust in the energy, what feels right to you, rather than, as we say, making snap decisions, following everybody else, because it's a lot easier to do that. We want you to feel your way through these decisions. So what you will encounter, if anything feels in alignment with you, they will be that feeling of ease and flow state. There will be no resistance, no questioning from your internal monologue. Yet if something does not resonate with you, you will feel tense in your physicality, your muscles will tighten, your mind will keep on going round in circles and doubting the choices that you've made. You'll see there's this perpetual cycle of, is that right? Am I sure I've made the right decision? That's obviously telling you that you haven't made the right decision, because you wouldn't be thinking or going through that. You'd simply align and allow and trust if something felt right to you. So the reason we're talking about this is there's going to be a lot of decisions to be made over the up and coming months. And by taking this level of personal responsibility, following the advice we've just poured upon you there, will help you to make more just decisions that is in alignment with your soul path. And so we're saving you a lot of hard work in the end when you do finally make your transition and do that life review. You'll know for a fact that the choices that you have made in your earthbound incarnation have been in alignment with your soul's path, your soul's journey. And in doing so, you're trusting that flow of energy, knowing full well that it is just and it is right for you to choose in that moment in time. So personal responsibility all starts with you. It starts where you're focusing your time, your vibrational energy, and your attention on. When you see things in this way, you will look at life differently, because you will understand that, this has a greater impact, not just on myself, but on the people, the surroundings, the energy around me. And so, don't get anxiety about this process. It's simply you understanding who you are as an individual and feeling your way, what feels right for you and what does not. Not being stuck in your mind, procrastinating, is that the right decision? As we've just said, when you feel your way through life in this way, and you feel it to be right, there will be no thoughts in your mind suggesting that you've made the wrong decision. You'll just know, and you'll trust it. It's only when you make a wrong decision that your mind will keep quizzing itself. I'm not sure about this. Is this the right decision? You see, that is obviously an indication that you have made the wrong decision in that moment. But we say that every nanosecond within your life can be changed. And it can be changed by you changing where you place your time, your focused attention on. And so if you do feel those vibrations, I've made a wrong decision here, simply change that. Change that and focus in on what does feel right. And when you're open to accepting to be wrong in these situations, the answer will always be given to you. Just remain neutral, be very observant of yourself and your feelings, and trust the process. So we hope this finds you well and gives you something to think about in the up and coming months, as you will all be going through various twists and turns within your timeline on your life on the planet of Earth. There's lots of changes coming through, as you're already witnessing incrementally these different shades of grey, shall we say, that's being interjected into your planet. These are interjected in simply to give you that contrast, to make you realize what has really been happening. They've also been interjected in so that you can shift and say to yourself, well, that doesn't feel right to me anymore. You see where we're going with this, can't you? And so it will put you in that other vibration where you take personal responsibility and take a choice and focus your attention on something that does feel right to you. So thank you so much for listening. We appreciate all of your focused attentions, and we hope that this information finds you well and helps you over the up and coming months. We're just going to emit a sound healing frequency for you before we leave you. Thank you for listening.
Well, now we're moving into this week's energy forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday the 30th of October 2023. Now, those of you that have watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot cards. So I'm just about to shuffle the cards and allow a card to come out for this week's energy forecast reading. Okay, so here we have it. And this is your card for this week's forecast reading. I'm now going to link into the vibration of that. First of all, I'm hearing the song by a band called Madness, and the song is called It Must Be Love, Love, Love. And with me saying that, I'd like you to research the lyrics of that. But also, I feel it's very relevant for this week, as I feel as though the love vibrations in the atmosphere, I'm not just talking about romantic love, I'm talking about the glue that binds the universe together, is going to be very, very obvious to those of you that are paying attention. Now, what I mean by this is it's that flow state energy. And you'll observe people that are either in that flow state vibration and are vibrating higher and are acceptant of this divine wisdom and inspiration coming in. And then there'll be those people that you will be observing that will be in resistance to that vibration. Now, I'm being told to tell you not to judge these people that you are observing. It's simply where they are at vibrationally. Just continue to resonate what feels right for you in your heart, and don't have any cords of attachment connected to these individuals. But I feel as though that they will gravitate towards the vibration of love when the timing is right for them. So in the meantime, don't judge or chastise them. Simply follow your heart this week. I do feel as though you're going to witness lots of love around you. Now, this can come in many forms, as you may be aware. I do feel as though that you're going to see lots of couples chatting together, like romantic couples. And for people that are either in a partnership themselves, this will be very reassuring. For those of you that are single, maybe looking for a partner, this could actually trigger an emotion response with you. If this does occur, what I would certainly recommend is that you see the blessing and the beauty in that situation. For those individuals, send them love. Thank them, celebrate that wonder of that connection of love and passion as you observe it. With you doing this, obviously, you're going to still resonate and stay in that vibration of love. And if you are single, in the vibration of romantic love. So hold your vibrations high. Don't be triggered by some of these things. Instead, just go with the flow and celebrate every success, even if it's not your own. This will keep you on that flow state vibration. I also feel that this week there will be a change in your physical health. And what I mean by this, you'll seem to have more energy. You'll feel more hyperactive. With this being the case, you'll find it a lot difficult to sleep of an evening. So you're having to wind down of an evening in order to go to bed. But what you're finding when you do go to bed, you're finding it difficult to have a full night's rest. This is because the vibrations are changing. You've heightened your vibration as well. And as a result, there's lots of things happening behind the scenes on an energetic level. Don't despair. My guides are saying it's all down to breath work, breathing, and allowing yourself to drift off naturally in that flow state energy of rest. Also, I feel that this week there's going to be options presented to you. Now, don't choose the first thing that comes before you. I feel as though you need to feel your way through these options. In other words, don't just do what's expected of you. Don't be afraid to go against the grain. As long as it feels right to you, that's all that matters. And that's with these choices that are coming in. I feel as though these choices are to do with career, they're to do with your personal life as well, and friendship circles as well. So watch out for all of those elements this week. Because I do feel as though you will be tested, but you are to follow your heart in response to that situation there. Music will also play a very prominent role in your life this week. And I feel as though you're going to be either engaging in music, listening to it, performing, or even singing along to music. This is going to also add to that high vibrational energy that I'm referring to today. And so watch out for this. And when you do feel that inclination, maybe nobody else wants to listen to music at that moment in time, but when you feel that inclination, go and get some headphones in and celebrate music, because there will be a method in that why you're meant to be listening to those songs at that specific moment in time. I feel as though it's the frequencies and the energy within that musical composition that will actually keep your vibration buoyant and of a high vibration. So be aware of that natural draw to music this week. So let's turn over the card and see what we have for you. The top of the card says 2 of Gabriel, so I'd like you to research the angel number of number 2, because I feel that will resonate with you greatly this week as well. Gabriel, to me, for some reason, I'm hearing somebody singing, so I feel as though it's referring to energy, singing, celebrate, expressing yourself this week as well. The bottom of the card reads, make bold and ambitious choices. Great progress is possible. Important relationships with people who share your vision. So that goes in alignment with what my guides were saying, actually, doesn't it? So it sounds like we're in for an interesting week, and we're to trust every turn, twist and turn of the way there. The edge of the card, we've got the colour of orange. To me, that colour of orange represents vitamins, minerals, making sure that you're keeping a healthy diet and that you are keeping your energy buoyant as possible. I do feel as though energy is going to be given to you this week from the world of spirit. So we mentioned earlier about you feeling that sense of feeling hyperactive. And with this being the case, use this energy wisely, constructively. So maybe there's projects that you've had at the back of your mind that you haven't given your time and attention to. This week would be the perfect week to start and invest your energy into those projects, as I feel as though that energy is there for the taking for you to do this. Looking into the artwork of the card, we've got a partnership there. We've got 2 gentlemen walking on a shoreline there. To me, that represents masculine energy. It represents companionship as well in all forms, close bonds, close friendships and relationships. The fact that they're both carrying like a cane or a walking stick would indicate that both parties involved are going to be supported on this journey together. With it, they're walking along the shoreline. That's telling you to be sure of yourself, allow that level of confidence to rise up this week, and to trust the flow of the universe as these connections are met there. We have the waves coming in from the sea. Water would indicate emotions. The color of blue would indicate communication, emotions as well. So clarifying what you feel is right for you and expressing that to others, sharing your vision as well. Also, the waves in the actual sea, the ocean there, would indicate frequency changes. We've already mentioned that about the heightening vibrations, the vibration of love being more obvious to those that are paying attention, and those that are aware of it will be triggered by these high vibrational frequencies this week. Again, don't judge, simply band together and walk your talk and talk your walk. That's what I'm being told. We've got a fairy elemental there at the top there. To me, that indicates with the vibrations changing, there's going to be the elemental world coming in, and you may spot flashes at the corner of your eye there. But there's also rainbow, so that indicates positivity, financial help and assistance energetically and emotionally this week. That's what I picked up for you for this week's energy forecast reading. I hope that resonates with you. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed what you've seen on here and you would like to support and help the work that I do, I have got a buy me a coffee link above this or below this video, which is a virtual tip jar, and all of your donations will be greatly received and used in accordance with the work that I do. Also, if you're wanting a one-to-one private reading or any other of my services, head over to www.glenboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can find me on Facebook. Join me every Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time for From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking all things paranormal, self-help and spirituality. Take care, everybody. Have a blessed week. Bye for now.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in once again for another action-packed show. If you have any show suggestions, any ideas, or if you want to get in touch with the show, contact me at www.glenboddicespiritualmedium.com or glennboddice@live.co.uk. Have a fantastic week. See you all very, very soon.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to
Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium.